Hello everyone and welcome back to my opinion, and this is part 2 of my review of the overall squads of each IPL franchise after the mega auction of 2022. So from my previous video, I'd ended last video by ranking CSK in 6th place, and in this video I'll be filling the other 5 slots. And so in 5th place I have put the Kolkata Knight Riders. Now after the first day I'd ranked them in 10th because I thought that, okay, apart from the Lucknow Super Giants and the Delhi Capitals, no side had really got close enough to establishing a first 11. You could say Rajasthan Royals maybe, but apart from those, I'd say there was a lot to do for most of the franchises, and I think a lot to do for KKR, and they needed an opening batsman and generally fill more slots than their 11, because luckily for them, despite the fact that they were financially constrained for most of the 2 days that the auction spanned over. And overall, in the second day, they've really recovered and done, I think, a good job. And luckily, their Nicholas Puram bid didn't go through, because otherwise they'd have been, I think they had 12.85 crores. So at one point, they needed, they had 20 crores, they needed to get 11 plays at least. And at the end of day 1, they had 12.85 crores remaining. If they'd bought Nicholas Puram, I think that they would have had, 2 point something crores left. They would have been doomed at that point. So luckily for them, that bid didn't go through. And looking at the side that they've got, it's quite a good side and intelligent backups for players as well. If you look at Mohammad Nami as a backup for Sunil Narayan, you've got Chamika Karunaratne as a backup for Andre Russell. Yes, you could say, look, Karunaratne's a bowling all-rounder, and you can never really get a backup for Andre Russell. And they tried Pat Cummins. Sorry, no. Ben Cutting, they got him in the squad for, I think, in the previous season. And you can't really get a backup for Andre Russell, but they've made an effort for it. And I think that it's still a smart signing. And Tim Southee has a backup for Pat Cummins, who will be away for the first part of the tournament on international duty. So I think honestly, and I would say in terms of his new ball bowling, they don't lose out anything in that regard at all. Okay, he isn't as quick as Pat Cummins, and I think on better surfaces, will he be able to? Actually, no, I don't think that at all. I think that in the new ball bowling wise, especially, they don't lose out anything. And so yeah, even if they do play Pat Cummins, yes, they lose out probably in the batting front at number 7. But yeah, I think that playing him for his bowling, he'll certainly do a great job, especially up top. And yeah, I think that they've got some intelligent signings with Alex Hales also. I don't think they should play him personally because it will affect the balance of the side. And I'll actually say their first 11, and there's a reason why I think that it will affect the balance of their side. And so, Ajinkya Rahane. Now, before I could get to the first 11, I think that, as I said before, I'm not sure if I've said this already in this video, but I'll say it again. I think that... yeah, I don't think I've said this because I said this after day 1 actually, because if you look at the Indian batsmen available on day 2 of the auction, Rahane was the best player by far, and I think that KKR needed an opener. They got him at an absolute steal for 1 crore, playing into the hands that there wasn't much competition for that player at all. And yeah, I think that contrary to kind of the recent belief about him not being a great T20 player, I think that's absolutely ridiculous, because I'm a huge fan of Rahane's T20 game. The last time he played a substantial amount of games in the IPL was 2019. He had a great season for Rajasthan Royals. And yeah, I think that he's a very, very good player to watch, even in the T20 format. I think that I really enjoy seeing him bat. And I think the thing I like most about his game is that he's actually quite an aggressive batsman, and especially the starts that he gives his team in the power plays, despite the fact that he doesn't take too many risks. I really think that that's a great feature of his batting. And him and Venkatesh Iyer on good batting tracks will be a great four, where both of them will go at a good strike rate. Rahane not taking too many risks, and Venkatesh Iyer certainly visibly would seem like the player who would take more risks. So yeah, a great opening partnership for them, and I'm going to narrate their 11 now, and I think that they really have a few benefits going for them, because Rahane, Venkatesh Iyer opening the batting, Rana 3, Shreyas Iyer 4. Now that all-Indian, quite a competent top 4, it gives them the opportunity to play the overseas players where they really need to. So Sam Billings at 5, being the keeper batsman who can finish the innings, Russell 6, Pat Cummins 7, and then they have Narayan 8. Now, what happens there is that especially with the first three of those names, I think finishing the innings is in great hands, and especially if someone from the top four bats through, it's in even better hands. So collectively, I really think that they'll be able to capitalize in the death overs, and I really think it's a very, very good batting lineup. And then Narayan at number 8, Chakravarti number 9, those two being the best spin duo of last season's tournament, especially, and I would say in 2020 as well. And so those two at 8 and 9. Then you've got Shivam Mavi 10, and either Rasik Salam Dar or Umesh Yadav in at 11, because I think that it was a fact that I think Rasik Salam Dar had been done for age fluking before, but I'm happy he's back in the IPL for this time, because I think that especially last time he played one game for the Mumbai Indians in 2019, he swung the ball quite a bit. So I wouldn't mind seeing him or Umesh Yadav in the starting 11. So that's the positives of this team. As I said, they've got intelligent backups. But now I'm going to get to the side that worries me a bit, and that's their death bowling, because their best death bowler is Andre Russell. And given how injury prone he is, you wouldn't want him bowling too much. And if you want to get the best out of Andre Russell, the batsman, you wouldn't really want him to bowl too much. And I think, that's certainly a very, very big concern. I'd say that it's probably the only concern for this team, really, because overall, if you look at all the other departments of the first 11, it's quite good. But then the Shivam Mavi, you could say, would probably take the death bowling duties, but I still think right now it's a bit of a stretch for him to be considered as the main death bowler in the side, because if they wouldn't really want to use Andre Russell too much with the ball. And then apart from that, you see Umesh Yadav, whose death bowling, as we've all seen, is not the greatest, and we don't know what Rasik Salamda is going to do, so especially at the death. So I think that their death bowling is quite a bit of a concern, and I think that they're two brilliant spinners that they have. Considering the place where this tournament is being played in Maharashtra, or most likely to be played there. I know I said this before, in IPL 2021, especially in Rajasthan versus KKR, that game, there were times in the Mumbai stadium, the Wankhede stadium played out a bit slow, but sorry. If it plays out to its usually kind of its usual self, which is being very good for batting, high totals being posted, if Chakravarti and Narayan get negated, then I reckon that I'm not really sure about the others as in the back end of the innings, and I think that it's a necessity for this lineup, this batting lineup, to be as good as it is, because they're gonna have to use that lineup to chase some high totals quite regularly in this tournament, I feel. So overall, I think that they've done a decent job in the second day to get quite a good squad, but their death bowling is quite a bit of a concern for me. I wish them the best of luck. But certainly the death bowling, I just feel like they're going to have to be chasing quite a few big totals in the second innings, and probably have to get quite a big total in the first innings to compensate for their death bowling. So yeah, that's on KKR. And on number 4, I have got the Rajasthan Royals. So both them and Punjab Kings, I think that they would have wanted to make a statement in this mega auction. They both have. And I have got Rajasthan Royals at number 4. And I really think that since 2015, I know they weren't around for 2016 and 2017, but since 2015, I know that in their recent in the players from their most recent mega auction, they got Archer, Smith, Stokes, and Butler. So that is a very, very good overseas contingent. But I think that if you look at generally the players that they've got in their squad now, Trent Bolt, R. Ashwin, Josh Butler, Rassi van der Dusen, Shimron Hetmeyer, Sanju Samson, Yuzvendra Chahal, you've got all these kind of players that this selection of players, Rajasthan Royals haven't had this many good players at their disposal in a long while. I'd say from the 2015 time or so, and I'd actually say that they've probably got a better selection of players now than they had then. So their first 11 for me, I'm gonna put I would say who would I say? So Butler and Jaiswal opening the batting, Padikkal 3, and I think that their own now on Crickbuzz Live said they were thinking for Padikkal to bat at 3. Samson 4, then you've got either Rassi van der Dusen or Hetmeyer 5, Jimmy Neesham 6, R. Ashwin 7, Then you just got the bowlers ready in Trent Bolt 8. Then you've got Chahal 9, Saini 10, Prasidh Krishna 11. So an exciting bowling lineup with quite a bit of quality. And they've got bowlers like Coulter now as a backup for Trent Bolt. Daryl Mitchell, who I think that will probably be a backup for probably, I would say Josh Butler, since they have Sanju Samson to keep. Obed McCoy is kind of one of their overseas seamers as well. They've got quite a decent squad, quite a good squad actually. But Rian Parag as well, I think if they wanted to slot him in at 7 at one point, they could. And so yeah, quite a decent squad. Now the probably the I'd say the things that don't really work too well. And so if you look at this side, there are a lot of positives, but it's that their death bowling doesn't really, apart from Trent Bolt, if you're going to rely on Prasidh Krishna and Navdeep Saini to bowl at the death, then things aren't really looking too good. Especially, as I said, on the tracks that where the ball comes onto the bat, they're going to have to probably be mindful of those two bowling at the death. There'll be a lot of onus on Trent Bolt. And I think they're in a better situation than KKR in terms of their death bowling because they do have Trent Bolt there. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they go. They have Ashwin and Chahal as well. But as I said, if the opposition negates those two on better batting tracks, Navdeep Saini and Prasidh Krishna, despite the fact all the rewards of those two, especially Prasidh Krishna in recent times at the kind of in the first half of the innings, he's not really been a great T20 bowler, despite showing some promise. I'm not sure how they'll go at the death, despite the fact that they have a good squad, they have a very good batting lineup. I think that, I'm not sure how they're going to go at the death. Also, the fact that if they play Ashwin at 7, that's effectively after Ashwin, there isn't really too much batting left. So they're going to have to make sure that, and it isn't too much of a bad thing because the batsmen are there to get you runs, the bowlers are there to bowl. And if they have to make sure that their top 6 especially get the runs, Ashwin's a very able batsman, so you could say top 7. The top 7 have to post good totals. You could say, would you really say they had the bowling attack to defend it? In the first half of the innings, yes, but I just think, look, Prasidh Krishna for 10 crores. If they had, Avesh Khan went for that same money to, I think, the Lucknow Super Giants. So if they had got him instead of Prasidh Krishna, yes, Prasidh Krishna is a good bowler, but I'm saying that as far as death bowling is concerned, if Avesh Khan was in this side, this would be a very, very a complete bowling attack. And I actually think that after number 6, I think that their batting depth is probably not there, but it's still a decent side. I still think their death bowling and batting depth potentially may let them down, especially their death bowling. They're going to have to find a way around that. And honestly, if you look at the options in their Indian seamers, they probably aren't going to be able to find a way around playing Navdeep Saini and Prasidh Krishna and just hoping that they do well to death. And it'll be quite difficult for them actually on better batting tracks. So I wish them all the best, but they do have that kind of those two things to deal with. Then the Punjab Kings. Now they have really had quite a statement auction. I think that buys like Johnny Bairstow, an absolute steal for 6.75 crores. You've got Liam Livingston, 11.5 crores. The big money buy. Rabada, 9.25. Odean Smith, 6 crores. You've got, honestly, Shikhar Dhawan, 8.25. I'm not sure if I said him already or not. It's a very, very good squad, I think. And their first 11s being Shikhar Dhawan, Mayank Agarwal opening the batting, Bairstow at 3, or what they could do is, in fact I'll say this later, Bairstow at 3, Shah Rukh Khan 4, Liam Livingston 5, number 6 I'm going to leave blank, Odean Smith at number 7, you've got Rabada 8, Arshdeep Singh 9, Rahul Chahar 10, and you could put Sandeep Sharma at 11 since there isn't really any other spinner that they can go to. And so they can kind of have that kind of a side. And for number 6, they could do a few things here. Now, I personally think that, well, what would be the best option is Johnny Bairstow bats at 4 for England now. And Liam Livingston and Shah Rukh Khan are both in the side as finishers. So what they could do is best of 4, Liam Livingston 5, Shah Rukh Khan 6. So you can interchange those two, depends. And before Bairstow walks in at number 4, you could play Prabh Singh at number 3, an aggressive keeper batsman, just give him all the freedom because you've got Shikhar Dhawan, Mayank Agarwal, Johnny Bairstow around him. So certainly, he's got the license to just go and express himself. And I reckon that they could definitely play him there. And I just think that it is quite a good side. What they could do, and if they don't do that, number 6 will be a test because I don't think Harpreet Brar is going to be a great option at number 6. Maybe number 7, not at number 6. Apart from that, they don't really have too many options at that position. They have Raj Bawa. Again, I think it's way too early to blood him into that number 6 role. He has potential, but I think that number 7 at the maximum. So that's certainly a position they're going to have to find their way around. But apart from that, you could say they don't really have a prominent spinner apart from Rahul Chahar. Certainly, you could say that, in the spin department, I would say that they are a bit weak, but certainly they have the paces. So certainly, I think the spin department is a weakness, and that number 6 role, they're going to have to find some way. They may have a good number 6 option, but the thing is, they're probably going to have to take a punt on someone to fill that role in the batting lineup. And I think that Prabh Singh at number 3 is probably the best bet. Because if you look at everyone else pretty much, would they be able to fill that number 6 role? I don't know. Then another weakness, I would say, now they've got some smart backups though. Bhanika Rajapaksa, I think, is a base price overseas finisher, very good buy. Nathan Ellis, backup for Odean Smith, I think. Benny Howell is kind of that all-rounder backup for 40 lakh. And I have not really seen any of kind of his games being played. And so, it'll be interesting to see what role he'll play. And that's this team. And I think another big weakness is that, look, they've bought Liam Livingstone for a lot of money. And the fact is, especially with the impact that he had in the 100, even after that, he didn't have much of an impact for Rajasthan Royals. And I know that he does give a bit of a bowling option in the middle overs. And you could say their prominent spinner is probably Rahul Chahar and Liam Livingstone. So certainly the spin bowling department is not the greatest of strength. As Rahul Chahar, yes, but if you're relying on Liam Livingstone to be one of your spinners, then it's not really too great. And I think that on his batting, as I said, he didn't have an impact for Rajasthan Royals, despite, you could say, being the best form of his life, you could say, in the 100. And I think that certainly they've bought him for 11 crores now. They're going to have to see that impact, because if he doesn't play the number 5 and you don't know what Prabh Singh is going to do, there may be a bit of a hole in that lineup, I feel. And they may have to play Shah Rukh Khan up kind of at the number 4 slot and play them. Or rather, if let's say Prabh Singh bats at number 3, at least Shah Rukh Khan number 5, Liam Livingstone 6. It depends how they're going to do it, but those two, Liam Livingstone, and if they play Prabh Singh, who I think is probably the most sensible option compared to all the other players to fill in that one position in the top 6 that's left, I think that Liam Livingstone is going to have a very good season, and if he does, I think that this team, look, the pace bowling is very good. I think the death bowling in Arshdeep Singh and Rabada is covered. Spin is a bit weak for them, honestly. But Rahul Chahar, yes, they have 4 genuine bowlers. I reckon they'll just play Sandeep Sharma and have 4 paces and rely on Liam Livingstone to bowl a bit of spin, not his full quota, but just something. And overall, this side is pretty good. They just need to find that one player to fill in at that number 6 role. Or I would say Prabh Singh at number 3 is the best bet. And they need to, I'd say that the fact that they don't really have, apart from Rahul Chahar, they don't have that other spin bowling option, that out-and-out spin bowling option. But I think that they'll probably play 4 paces. Overall, this team is quite good. Let's see what they do. I hope that they do something good in this tournament, because they haven't made the playoffs since I was in my last year of primary school. And I'm 19 years old now. So, they haven't made the playoffs in a long time. And I hope that they certainly can have a good tournament. I hope that they have a good tournament this time around. So, best of luck to them. Then, number 3, the Rajasthan... I've actually put number 3 Punjab. So, number 2. And this was very hard in deciding. So, I think so far I've done Kolkata 5, Rajasthan Royals 4. Rajasthan Royals 4, Punjab Kings 3. So Lucknow 2. Now, I actually found it very difficult to decide between the Delhi Capitals and the Lucknow Super Giants. And if I look at this squad, I actually think that I'm actually just going to do a last minute possible adjustment. I don't really know, but tell you what, you know what? I'm actually going to put the Lucknow Super Giants in second. So yeah. So for us, a first real auction and an inception into the IPL, I really think that they've made quite a statement to the auction. They had a very good first day, I thought. And so looking at their team, they've got quite some all-rounders in Marcus Stoinis, Jason Holder, Krunal Pandya, Deepak Hooda. It forms part of their middle order batting. Their batting is really strong. They've got some good bowling as well. So I'm actually going to start off with their 11. Rahul and Quinton de Kock, one of the best. I'd say you could even say the best opening partnership in this tournament. Manish Pandey at 3. Now, as long as strike rates are regulated, I think that Manish Pandey has batted at number 5 for India before in T20 cricket. He's a very good player, and I'm sure that even despite the fact you could say his time in SRH was filled with ups and downs, mostly downs, he's played quite some good innings at number 3 and at very good strike rates, and I'm sure he'll be able to emulate that in this franchise. He wouldn't be under pressure to perform because of the lineup that honestly he's in. And so I certainly think that they'll be expecting quite a lot from him at the number 3 slot. But 4.6 crores from Manish Pandey is actually a bit of a steal if you look at the market, how inflated this market was in this auction. And so, yeah, I think that's a very good top 3. Marcus Stoinis number 4. Jason Holder 5, Deepak Hooda 6, Krunal Pandya 7. As I said before, I hope that Krunal Pandya and Deepak Hooda on the same team, it goes relatively harmoniously. I know even if they necessarily wouldn't be on the greatest of terms with each other, I hope that things can go harmoniously. I reckon they will. I reckon they'll be professional. And then you've got that kind of a top 7, incredible batting stocks there, and most of them can bowl. Basically, you've got Marcus Stoinis, Jason Holder, Deepak Hooda, Krunal Pandya, all players who can bowl. Maybe Deepak Hooda's bowling you used to a lesser degree, but certainly the other 3 will have a greater part to play with the ball. Then you've got, I think that as far as the batting of the bowlers, there probably isn't that. And so certainly after the number 7 slot, they probably don't have much batting in. I'm just saying the kind of my preferred bowling lineup here. So Ravi Bishnoi 8, Mark Wood 9, Avesh Khan 10, and depending, you could either play Ankit Rajput or Shahbaz Nadeem at 11 if you want Jason Holder to bowl more overs, which I look, for me, I think Jason Holder is a bowler in T20 cricket. I don't really, he's not that bad, but he isn't that good. He's a bit in the middle. I don't really think as a bowler in T20 cricket I really rate him that much. So certainly I'd play Ankit Rajput probably, and I know maybe they'd want to play another spinner on the odd day. It depends, and certainly if the pitches are more slow, which I'm not sure how many pitches will be more slow considering the area that this tournament will be played in. But certainly the fact that the teams need quality spinners, and the fact that they've got Shahbaz Nadeem and Ravi Bishnoi, certainly that kind of the facet of that side is covered. So they could either play Shahbaz Nadeem or Ankit Rajput, but overall the death bowling in Mark Wood and Avesh Khan is very good. And they've got a lot of bowling options, a great batting lineup. Certainly, okay, I think that the depth in the batting probably isn't there because after number 7, things aren't too great. They could play Krishna Gautam, just take a punt and kind of play him at number 8, but I'm not really sure. And I think that, look, they have Avesh Khan, Mark Wood. So I'm not really sure if they could do that or not, because I think Ankit Rajput certainly would offer more with the ball in terms of three pacers who I think I wouldn't really consider Jason Holder as part of the three pacers. And so, yeah, it depends who they go for. But I don't really think if you play their best 11, I don't think that they do have that batting depth after number 7. And another thing for them is Mark Wood. I don't think he'll play the full tournament, all the games in the group stage. And they've got Chamira, a good backup, but I think that the death bowling wise, he certainly wouldn't offer what Mark Wood does, despite the fact that Chamira bowls very quick. I think that there'll be more pressure on Avesh Khan if Mark Wood gets injured. I really think that they've got the Indian backup opener Manan Vohra. What they could do if something happens to Quinton de Kock, he hardly gets injured, but if something happens to Quinton de Kock, they have Evan Lewis there, so they could just, because they have the keeper in the top 6, they could play him there. And yeah, overall, I think that this squad, despite the fact that the batting depth isn't there, that's the only weakness. And if everyone does their job, then you'd say that even then that issue may not be highlighted that much, even though it is still there. And so yeah, overall, if Mark Wood stays fit for the entire tournament, this team will be an absolutely a great kind of a force in this tournament to reckon with. And I think that they'll make the playoffs this season. Looking at their squad, I know you could say it's too early to assume things, but this squad is very, very good. For really, if you want to make a statement with your inception, especially in a climate where being in this auction would have been very difficult for all franchises, because they would not have foreseen this kind of inflation as far as their players were concerned. But they've done really well considering that, and this is a very good squad. Yeah, so well done to them. I wish them the best of luck. And first is the Delhi Capitals. Now, I thought that things wouldn't. I thought that I was actually considering where to put this team or the Lucknow Super Giants at first. I've gone with the Delhi Capitals. Now, with their starting 11, Prithvi Shaw, David Warner opening the batting, an absolute steal with David Warner for 6.25 crores. Then I think KS Bird. We saw how well he did for RCB last season. Him at number 3. Then you got Rishabh Pant at number 4. And I think that they probably have to play Mitchell Marsh at number 5, because I think that, if they play him at number 3, there's probably a bit of a gap in that number 6, 5 and 6 position. Would they really fully trust Sarfraz Khan and Mandeep Singh at this point in time? I'm not sure. Mandeep Singh is a good player, so is Sarfraz Khan, but I'm saying that it would be interesting to see, based on what they've done in recent seasons. Would you say that number 5 and number 6, would they get the maximum output out of them? I'm not sure. So I think, despite the fact that Mitchell Marsh bats at number 3 for Australia, I reckon that he has to bat at probably at number 5 in this team, and he can bat at that position as well. You've got you could either play Rovman Powell at number 6, or you could play Mandeep Singh at number 6 as well. Number 7, Shardul Thakur. Number 8, Akshar Patel. Number 9, Anrik Nokia. So pretend if you play Fabian Allen at number 6, you've got Rovman Powell number 6. You've got Thakur 7, Akshar Patel 8, Nokia 9, Sakaria 10, Kuldeep Yadav 11. Now that's a very good bowling attack, a very good batting lineup. They've got a decent amount of depth into number 8. You could say that it's a very good side. And if they wanted to play Lungi Ngidi, as you could say, that's kind of a Rabada replacement, you could say, despite not entirely so. They could not play for Rovman Powell, put Mandeep Singh in the side, and maybe replace, you could say, Sakaria, and put Ngidi in place of him. So overall, I think it's got slightly more batting depth than the Lucknow Super Giants. They don't have to really shift anyone out too much to get that, because even their first 11, Thakur and Akshar Patel, those two as bowling all-rounders in your side is a great thing. They offer so much in both facets, in batting and bowling. And I think that certainly with they would probably be thinking that if they do play in Ngidi, they would want Mandeep Singh to really do something. And I think that so far, if you look at this side, I'm trying to think of a weakness that they've got. And you honestly can't point too much at all, apart from number 5 and number 6. If Mandeep Singh has a decent season, or if they can get away with not playing in Giri and playing Sakaria, but I think that on better surfaces, if you want really an out-and-out death bowler, especially with the fact that Rabada isn't in this team anymore, I'd say in Giri would probably be the better bet to play. Either him or Mustafizur Rahman, but certainly if you just want a bit more pace, should probably put in Giri. Although Mustafizur Rahman, I wouldn't... I mean, even if they play him, he's also a very good death bowler as well, a magnificent death bowler, so, and also steal at 2 crores. So they could play him or Mustafizur Rahman. I would play Lungi and Giri, but they may just think that Sakaria offers that left arm option, and they may think Mustafizur Rahman would be considering that as well. He'd be a good player to have in this side. So they could do kind of those kind of things. If number 6 has a good season, I'm sure Kesh Bharat would be quite a good kind of a signing at number 3. This team is a very good team. They've secured the most steals out of everyone. Nagarkoti at 1.1 crores. Sakaria, I was confused when they bought Khalil Ahmed and Sakaria. I don't know where Khalil Ahmed will feature. They've got a nice selection of left-arm quicks there, 3 of them. But I'm not sure where Khalil Ahmed will feature, because he certainly, for me, won't feature ahead of Sakaria. And they've got some decent players in Ripal Patel. They've got Yash Tul for 50 crores. Sorry, not 50 crores, 50 lakhs. Vicky Ostwal, the spinner from the Under-19 World Cup, for 20 lakhs. They've got a decent squad, a very, very good squad. Tim Seifert as their overseas keeper batsman. And yeah, I really think that this side is a quality side. And as long as Mitchell Marsh stays fit, I think that will be a key. And even if he does get injured, they've got Rovman Powell. So what they could do is they could play him at number 5, Mandeep Singh at number 6. And they've still got their real main bowlers intact. So yeah, it's a very, very good side. And I've put them at first. I think that them and Lucknow are the front runners for this season. How well Delhi have managed in this kind of this uncertain auction climate, I really think that it is a magnificent auction that they've had, and I'm really looking forward to this season. And so yeah, that's the review of these 5 teams. I think that this one was fairly shorter than the other one, and not, I think by 9 minutes or something probably. But yeah, I think that certainly a big takeaway from this auction, and something I've really been happy to see from, if you look across the board, is that I talked about the fact that in the magnitude of this tournament, you shouldn't have teams that, there's a few teams that really don't want a mega auction and few teams that would really want a mega auction. And I think that, as I said, it's just a notion that every side is entitled to the best players. And I'm really happy, especially if you look at the sides like Rajasthan Royals, with the quality of players that they have bought. Ashwin and Chahal, who thought that they would be together in the same team, especially in Rajasthan Royals, with probably the squad depth that they had in the previous season wasn't great. And I'm not saying that probably no side really, apart from the Delhi Capitals, have a great squad depth this time around. But I certainly think, as far as the first 11s are concerned, Rajasthan Royals, securing some quality players. I really think that pretty much all the sides have made sure that they have statement signs in their 11. So I really think that I'm looking forward to see how this auction goes. See how this tournament goes. Personally, I think Delhi are front runners, but Lucknow, I think, will also be certainly, I think, will make the playoffs. So it'll be interesting to see how this tournament goes, and yeah, I can't wait for it. If you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe, and please share the video with your friends. And remember, this is my opinion. What's yours?